Hi, it's Gadget UK here again. A bit of a vloggy sort of thing this, it's not retro. It's my 5.1 home sound system here, and it's got a built-in DVD player. Now, the DVD player is not working at all. It's one of these things, you sort of started to get intermittent several years back, and I cleaned it out and then it was alright for a bit. About 2 years ago, we started doing the same thing, and eventually I stopped using it. I haven't used this in about 2 years. I come to use it last week and it wouldn't read a disc at all, whereas previously you could eject it a few times, put it back in and it'd be okay. Now this is my sound system as well. It provides DTS 5.1 digital surround sound. So for the moment I'm just using the speakers on the TV and it sounds awful actually, so yeah, I can't wait to get this thing back into operation if I can. It might need recapping, that's the other thing, because just periodically I've heard some little clicks and squeaks and things on the sound that could be the amplifier side on this, it could be the caps, but they could be my TV as well. I'm not really sure which one of them, whether it's the TV, leading into this, or the system itself. But first of all, I'm going to dust the top of it because, as you can see, it's just covered in tons of dust here. You can see fingerprints on it and all sorts. So I'm going to get the screwdriver set, we'll get the lid off and have a look inside. So there are 5 screws in total, 2 on the sides and 3 on the back. And you can just about see the type of bit required there. And there we are inside. Can you see how dirty this is? Just look. Look at that. Massive amount of dust in here. And the board, look at the board. It's kind of like it got a grey tint to it. It's just absolutely covered in dust. It's no surprise this doesn't work with the amount of dust on here, but the caps look okay. I mean, I'll obviously inspect these super close. Yeah, I think it's probably alright with regards to capacitors. I think the main thing is going to be to clean this up, and yeah, you can just about see the laser lens there. I'd be amazed if that's not got dust on it. And obviously, lubricate the rail and gears and things. I'll do that. So I'll write this down first, then we'll clean up the optical unit and stuff, and let's say get some lubrication on the rails and things. And I'll go and plug it in and see if I can get it to work. So I've vacuumed over it, but I'm just going to carefully go over some of the board here with cotton buds actually and IPA, just try and collect some of the surface dirt there that the vacuum has not brought off. And then we'll focus on the drive. So having given it a quick clean up, I haven't done anything with the drive yet. I want to measure the voltages. Yeah, you might just be able to see this. Written here are the voltages for the connections, and there are a number of these connectors. There's one here, again with the voltages written to the left hand side. You've got like -27, +5, and some down there as well. So I'm just going to measure those as is now, just to see what we've got. You can see it says TV just about there, it's a bit dirty. So measuring that first one there with respect to ground on the modulator can, 38 volts DC, second one 38 volts DC. I think that's probably right. I'll check in a minute. And I think these two here are grounds. Let's just switch it off. Let me just test it on continuity. I'm pretty sure that those are grounds. Yeah, that's a ground. And that's a ground. Yeah, I'm looking at the connection over here. It says 39 volts. So yeah, it's a little bit low in the sense that we've got 1 volt difference, but I wouldn't take that as any kind of significance. It's only a volt out, so 38 or 39 volts is pretty large voltage there, so 1 volt difference that's not going to be the issue. So we'll continue measuring around and let's see what's on some of the pins down here. Yeah, -28, there's supposed to be -27 there, so that one's there, okay. 12 volts there, nothing. And 5. So it would appear we've got the 5, the 12 and the 27 on there, okay. So in order to get the drive out, see this connector here, I've just lifted the 2 flaps up there and then the flex ribbon just sprung out like that. That seems to be the only thing holding, well there's another cable here, but it's one of the few things holding the drive in place, but we can now, lift and turn that. It's just these connectors here, which I think we can detach actually. It looks like that'll pull out, and I think that one will pull out carefully there. Yeah, you've got to be careful because it looks like the connector is coming away with that. Can you see that? The plastic of the thing is just coming off there. It's like it's glued in. Yeah, that was quite stiff. But anyway, nevertheless, we've got the drive out now. So at the very least, let's say we can get some Molycot on here, we can clean all this up, get rid of any of the dust and fluff out of here as well. But more importantly, inspect the mechanism. I guess that's the part number there, probably, you can't quite see. M674 1827 1044. I'll inspect it though, because sometimes they have a few different part numbers for the different bits on there. You know, you might be reading a part number of a piece of the assembly there rather than the actual pickup. So I'm just going to go over again with cotton buds and IPA on all the mechanical parts around here actually, and then we'll get a bit of Molycot on there, including these gears here. Just make sure you're not getting any bits of fluff and muck and all that sort of stuff there. You know, the plastic edge and stuff there with the cotton bud, super gently. We'll do the laser lens last. I do think the laser is going to be on its way out on this. Let's just see if there's any way we can move this here. Yeah, we can. Can you hear that noise? It's making a clicking noise. It's like we've got a mechanical issue there somewhere. It's not silent. That should be fairly silent when you move it. It's not. There's some resistance. So we could have a gear missing or something on this, yeah. That might be the next thing, but there is a benefit to moving the mechanism, because then you can you know, clean up here and you can get better access to the laser unit here like this. I'm not convinced there's not a problem with mechanically with the gears there, because it sounds a bit noisy actually when moving it. So we'll just focus on the laser now. Just a little bit of IPA onto there, and then a dry cotton bud. Sometimes with things like this, it's worth taking the assembly off and just soaking the whole thing in IPA for a few hours, because there could be some dust got inside the pickup part somewhere there. The lens might be alright, you know, the lens might be alright there. You may have dust somewhere else within the internals of the optical path. So just bear that in mind. Don't just give up after you've cleaned the lens onto something like this. But anyway, let's see if I can work out why that was making a noise. It rotates and then it jams. It feels a bit sticky. I don't know. It feels like it's sticking every now and again, like there, it's stuck. I'll inspect these gears super closely with some magnification. Yeah, I can't find anything wrong with it. It just feels like really dried up, and you know, I think the grease and stuff has worn off over the years. I mean, this has been in my house since about 2007, so and it's never been serviced. Other than I think last time I just cleaned the lens. So you never know. Just a bit of Molycot here could actually help things. Keep clicking there. But that could be because the mechanism's not down all the way or something, you know, because normally when you put the disc in, the mechanism will be in a slightly different position. Nevertheless, I'll just continue greasing this up. Yeah, the problem is that gear. It's got to split. It's all in one piece, but see that now? Now it's moving freely. So yeah, I need to replace that gear. So I put a little bit of super glue in there, and it's, you know, it's kind of reformed. It's all back in one piece, okay. But I don't think it's going to hold. So what I'm going to do is where the split is, and it's super hard to see this. You won't be able to see this here. Trust me, even on macro, it's so small. I'm going to touch the iron very carefully, just on the very lip of the edge there. So I'm not touching the tooth, but the bit where, you know, next to the tooth here on the inside that's broken. And then I'll flip it over and do the same thing there, you know, where the split is again. Just touch with the iron just a tiny little bit, just try and melt it. And that hopefully might just give it a little bit more strength. But yeah, I'll see if I can source something on eBay, but that's super tiny. It's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 millimeters in diameter. Well, do you know, I think I might have just pulled that off. It's free now, just watch. Hang on. Yeah, it runs nice and smoothly. Obviously it stops there because it's at the end. So yeah, I'll get some more Molycot around that. But all I did, like I say, if you imagine, I'll zoom out. So all I did, if you imagine, you've got an inner ring of plastic there, and then you've got the teeth stuck on the outside. On the inner part here, where there was a split, if you imagine the split was here, just touched the iron there, melted it, and did the same thing at the bottom, you know, so you've got a point down there at the bottom, and again, from the inside, just melted it. So we've got a melt at the top and the bottom, and then I've just inspected it, and it's all totally properly formed. I did have to just carefully pilot the screwdriver through the centre, because there's obviously where it melts, you get just the odd little bit overhanging. But I think that that has done the trick, and obviously as a net result, it's hard to get it on there. You know, you push it on, it needs a tiny bit of force to snugly grip the motor there. So I think that will have done it, actually. So I'll just clean up and we'll go test it. So I've switched it on and press the eject button. So yeah, the tray's still a little bit dirty here. Let's put the disc into the tray. I don't know if you can see that. So it's making a bit of a noise. Let's just see if it says DVD or the track number or something. Anything's better than nothing. DVD. Dolby. Fantastic. Sorted. So yeah, only a super short video, but you know, it's something to share on a bank holiday. I'm sure people are going to get a bit bored over the weekend. Although the weather is super amazing here actually in the UK at the moment. It's been like a summer's day today here. So I've connected up to the TV here, just to be double sure before I reassemble it. Sweet. So it's been working fine for a few hours here. And the one thing I thought of with this is, I think what's caused this is pushing the drawer in instead of using the button, because you can press this. I'm not going to do it now, but you can push the drawer in this way. Whereas if you press the home close button, sorry I didn't press that properly, you're doing the same thing. But when you push it, you're manually forcing the mechanism. And you saw that little gear. There's no other gears or anything in there or motor to actually drive the tray. It's an extension of the thing there. It seeks the head up. So yeah, always use the button. If you've got a button, use it.